Overall, I rate the possibility of Eri returning Mirio's quirk as a 9 out of 10. I do believe that this is the most likely course of action, and obviously given everything that's happened, Eri feels a massive debt to him. Massive debt to him. Massive debt to him. What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to explain how Lemillion finally got his quirk back in My Hero Academia, and we're also going to work out the timeline of events. It's been over 3 years since the manga chapter came out where he originally lost it, and since then he's had a very diminished role. After the cultural festival was over, Quirkless Mirio was only seen a handful of times, and on every occasion it was very brief. He's also been on break from his studies this entire time, which has resulted in several Janitor Mirio memes, which we've had to endure for too long guys. But thankfully, all those memes can now be put to rest, as Lemillion has, he returned out of nowhere basically in chapter 292, and in the following chapter we now have an explanation for how his Permeation quirk came back. Just before we get into it, be sure to hit that sub button for more explanation videos like this, and also thank you guys for getting the channel to 150k subs. We started this year with less than 15,000, so to be at 150k, which is 10 times that, it's like a dream come true, and I honestly can't thank every one of you enough. But with that said, let's get into the video, and to start things off, you can probably tell by the intro, Mirio was able to get his quirk back thanks to the help of Eri. Major spoilers ahead for chapter 293, but some time ago it appears that Bubble Girl told Mirio about the plan for heroes across Japan to ambush the villains. This ambush is truly the thing that began the war arc, and Lemillion desperately wanted to participate, but in his mind, the only way he could get the power to do this would be for Eri to rewind him, and so he approached her about doing so. If we flash back to when Mirio originally lost his quirk, he said to Deku that he'd ask Eri to rewind him if she learnt how to control her power at some point, and since then we know that she's been training with Aizawa. The professor made her practice the rewind quirk on insects and lizards, which has allowed her to gain some degree of control. As a result, Mirio asked Eri to rewind him, and he apologized for needing to use her power, but from the panel it was clear that Eri was happy to do this, as she tells him not to say sorry because this is the moment that she's been practicing for. From the beginning, Mirio has done a lot for Eri. Besides messing up that one time and letting her go back to Overhaul, the fact is that he sacrificed his quirk, and he's also given her his undivided attention and a ton of emotional support. So this is her way of repaying everything he's done, and you know what? I cannot wait to see this animated with the soundtrack playing in the back. That's gonna get me in the feels, I'm pretty sure. Now that he's back, my next thought is, how long was he actually quirkless? Because although I was sure Eri was going to rewind him one day, I didn't think it would be so soon. When Mirio made his appearance in chapter 292, this day was at the end of March, so presumably the 31st of March is when we see him with his power. We already know from the anime that Mirio lost his quirk in early October of the previous year. Autumn had just begun when everything began to go down, so it's safe to say that it was early October. That means there's a time period of just under 6 months between Mirio losing his quirk and when we see him with his quirk again. In the grand scheme of things, 6 months is not really that long of a time period. That being said though, when we look at it in real world terms, it has been 3 years since he lost his quirk in the manga, so I guess Horikoshi was just tired and was just like, you know what, I'm gonna give him the quirk back, it's been 3 years, I may as well do this one thing. I can't blame him if that's the reason, if he just got tired of Mirio not being able to do anything after 3 real world years. Now that we know that Eri can rewind people in a controlled manner, then of course Deku, Hawks, Mirko, Aizawa, All Might, and I'm sure many others could do with a quick Eri operation. The main limitation is that Eri needs to wait until the horn on her head gets bigger before she can rewind people. And the last time we saw her, her horn was just totally tiny, meaning that any injuries sustained during the war arc will have to wait a while before she's able to rewind them. Let me know your thoughts down below on this. Do you think Eri's existence kind of erases consequences in this universe? Like, when we know that at some point Eri can always rewind someone who's lost a quirk or lost an arm or something like that, does it kind of lower the stakes? In my opinion, it does a little bit, but again, she does have that limitation there, and at the moment we don't know how long it takes her to build up to another rewind. Is it 1 month? Is it 2 months? We just don't know how long it takes. but when we get more information on her quirk, then I guess it's easier to form an opinion. Anyway guys, this was just a quick video breaking down how Mirio got his quirk back. And remember, I'll be doing a live breakdown of chapter 293 this Sunday on Twitch, so be sure to click the link in the description if you want to see that. And until the next one, peace out.